Towering mountain ranges, turbulent rivers and streams, the ancient land of China, the homeland of tea. Near the gigantic stone Buddha at Leshan in Sichuan province, there's a place called Ya Tai. Here, Guopu, as scholar of the Western Jin dynasty, annotated Ya, a dictionary of the spring and autumn period. It is in this dictionary that one finds the earliest record of tea, a record made about 3,000 years ago. The earliest description of tea cultivation appeared in Huayang Guozhi, a history of southwest China, written by Chang Xu, a historian of the Eastern Jin dynasty. He wrote that tea gardens already existed in Sichuan as early as in the Western Zhou dynasty. Mount Mengshan stretches for miles to the west of Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan province. An old legend goes that during the Western Han dynasty, a monk by the name of Ganlu planted 7 wonderful tea trees on the mountain. A stone tablet proclaimed that these shrubs no more than a foot high would never grow old or die out. The leaves were said to be a panacea. The shrubs are nowhere to be found now, but the stone railing put up to protect them remains intact. It is a witness to the long history of tea cultivation in Sichuan province. 2,000 years ago, Wang Bao, a scholar of the Western Han dynasty, wrote about tea in his book entitled Tung Yue. He described the sale of tea at Shuangjiangzhen in Pengshan County, Sichuan province. This is the earliest record of a tea market. When the Ma Wang Dui tombs in Changsha were excavated, a detailed list of funerary objects was found. Included in the list was a box of tea, with the word tea written in its ancient form. This proves that during the Han dynasty, tea was already popular in Hunan province. We owe a lot to Lu Yu, a Tang Dynasty expert on tea, in determining the origin and history of tea. Lu Yu devoted himself to the investigation and study of tea for a long time. During the Shang Yuan period, he lived in seclusion at Yuhang, Zhejiang, and spent all his time in writing. His great work, Cha Jing, the first treatise on tea, made its appearance in AD 780. In the first chapter, the treatise mentions tea trees growing around Bashan and Xiachuan with trunks so big that it took 2 people with arms extended to encircle them. There is such a tree growing on the Nannuo mountain in Menghai County, Yunnan province. This 800-year-old tree is 5.5 meters high, and the trunk has a diameter of 138 centimeters. Experts both in China and abroad agree that this is the king of the tea trees. All the same, this is only a half-wild plant, more or less cultivated by man. To determine the origin of tea trees, one has to find indigenous plants. Exploration began in the 1950s. These are monsoon forests in Xishuangbanna. The area did not suffer much from glaciation of the Quaternary period. It retains a good many ancient plant species. More than 20 new species of trees of the same family as tea were discovered. To find indigenous tea trees in the area was a possibility then. In 1961, a big indigenous tea tree was finally discovered in the thick forests in Dahe Mountains of Menghai County. The tree is 32.12 meters tall and 2.9 meters around. The mature leaves are about 14 centimeters long and 6 centimeters wide. Unlike tea trees cultivated by man, the leaves are rather smooth. The tree blossoms profusely and bears big fruit. They have a great reproductive capacity. The big indigenous tea tree is an ancestor of cultivated tea. Later, more indigenous trees were discovered in Yunnan, Guizhou, and Sichuan provinces. Scientists conclude that tea originated in southwestern China. The dissemination of species follows the flow of rivers. Up to the Tang Dynasty, tea trees had been gradually spreading eastwards to the Yangtze River Valley and southwards to the vast areas south of the Yangtze. At the same time, people also kept on improving their mode of drinking. In early times, people picked the leaves and boiled them in water. This ancient way of preparing tea is still retained in some areas. Tea processing began in the Wei dynasty of the Three Kingdoms period. Later, in the Tang and Song dynasties, tea leaves were steamed and pressed into bowl-shaped tea, cake-shaped tea, and other shapes, a method still in use today. And people became increasingly particular about the tea sets, making their color harmonize with the tea. Celadon tea sets of the Tang dynasty and other glazed tea sets of the Song dynasty are among the rarities of art preserved to this day. In those days, drinking tea became something fashionable among both high and low. This is the painting Empress Wuze Ten and Her Entourage, a masterpiece by Zhang Xuan, a great Tang Dynasty painter. Empress Wuze Ten on a tour was followed by a maid-in-waiting with a special kind of saucer for tea in her hands. This is a Tang Dynasty gilded utensil of the same kind found in Xi'an. During the Tang and Song dynasties, tea houses mushroomed in cities and towns. This is a famous ancient painting called Riverside Scene on Qingming Festival. The small pavilion in the painting seems to be diffusing the aroma of tea. Hangzhou was the capital of the southern Song dynasty. Tea houses and tea stores could be seen everywhere in the city, and tea competition came into fashion. This is Tea Competition, a masterpiece by Liu Songnian, a celebrated Song dynasty painter. The competitors came from afar with tea loaded on carts or carried on shoulder poles. They traded in famous teas, competed with one another, and exchanged skills and experience in processing methods. These activities helped to bring about major improvements in processing methods. Tea leaves were first fired by pan in Shaoxing of Zhejiang province. This is a traditional method still in use today. Thanks to the innovation, pressed tea no longer predominated. Different kinds of tea mushroomed. Each variety had its own unique color, aroma, taste, and shape. Genmei tea from Wuyan is jade green and tightly rolled, and named after the eyebrows of beautiful women. Pingshui gunpowder tea is so tough that it makes a sound when poured on a plate. Yuhua tea is quite a new variety of tea. It is as thin as the pine needle. Taiping Hokui tea is pointed at both ends. White tea is a prized beverage. This is Jinshan silver needle tea. When boiling water is poured over the tea, the sprouts rise to the surface, all standing upright, then gently sink to the bottom, rise again, and sink again. Bubbles appear among the sprouts. No wonder it is likened to sparrows with pearls in their beaks. With the appearance of different kinds of tea, improvement was made on tea sets. When tea is made in a teapot, the aroma and the taste linger. The rich assortment of teapots and the great variety of famous teas are dazzling. Drinking tea has become an integral part of Chinese life. Longjing is a famous tea produced at a place called Longjing or Dragon Well near scenic West Lake in Hangzhou. The leaves are as green as tender willow leaves in early spring and under boiling water resemble orchid petals. The tea has the sweet fragrance of jasmine and the aftertaste of fresh olives. The excellence of Lungjing green tea is due to meticulous picking and fine processing. Only tender sprouts and leaves are picked. A single leaf is called a lotus seed heart, 2 leaves on a stem, bird's beak, and 3 on a stem, eagle's claw. Strict rules are set for firing. Exact temperature control ensures the fine appearance and quality of the tea. Among the other famous teas produced in areas south of the Yangtze River is Bilotun tea from the Suzhou area. The leaves are tightly rolled and resemble green snails. Unlike other teas, Bilotun tea can be made either by putting the leaves into boiling water or by pouring boiling water over them. In either case, the leaves spread well and send forth a wonderful aroma. Bilotun tea comes from the Dongting Hills in Lake Taihu. The area is moist and warm. A legend goes that the area was a summer resort in ancient times for King Fu Chai of the state of Wu and his concubine Si Shi. It is also said that the area under Bilo Peak is the very place where Bilotun tea originated. The tea gardens are tastefully laid out. Fruit trees alternate with tea plants. The tea plants are just budding when the fruit trees are already in full bloom. The fragrance of flowers and fruit enhance the natural quality of Bilotun tea. Tea picking starts around the spring equinox when the plants begin to put forth tender leaves. The leaves are so fine that half a kilogram of tea means 60 to 70,000 leaves. The leaves are fired by pan in a traditional way to produce the famous Bilotun tea. Tea-producing areas are endowed with unique natural conditions. Many prized teas come from famous mountains. Since the Ming Dynasty, tea produced in Mount Lushan has been called Lushan Yunwu tea or Lushan cloud and fog tea. Mount Lushan is noted for its clouds and fogs. Records show that on the average, there are 195 foggy days in a year. A poem by Chen Xianggu of the Ming Dynasty described tea sprouts in a fog taking in aromatic principle. He thought that tea growing in mountains enveloped in clouds and fogs had a richer content of aromatic principle. This theory has been investigated by modern science. Clouds and fogs float over the tea gardens and the tea sprouts remain fresh and tender. The clouds and fogs allow ultraviolet rays to filter through. This promotes the accumulation of nitride and the formation of aromatics. It seems, therefore, that there is some foundation for the ancient belief. The crest of Mount Huangshan commands a most spectacular view of the cloud seas. This is also a renowned tea-producing area. Huangshan Maofeng is a famous tea produced at Mount Huangshan. During the Song dynasty, it was called Zhao Chun Yinghua, or the best of early spring. The tea is rich with a strong aroma. It is true that famous mountains turn out famous teas. Aside from Mount Lushan and Mount Huangshan, there are many more famous mountains across China that produce famous teas. In the southeast, the Wuyi Mountains are carpeted with thick woods. It is also an ideal area for tea cultivation. For centuries, the area with its famous mountainous landscape, its rivers and streams, and its teas has been a great attraction for writers and scholars. The tea cave here is said to be a place where Zhu Xi, a noted Song dynasty philosopher, once had a cup of tea. In ancient times, poets fetched spring water with a stone mortar and made a fire in a stone stove to brew their tea. They wrote or recited poems while sipping tea. Fan Zhongyan, a great poet of the Song dynasty, wrote in praise of tea from the Wuyi Mountains. Here, tea trees generally grow among the rocks, hence the name Wuyi rock tea. Xu Yin, a scholar of the Tang dynasty, said the local environment had a great deal to do with the supreme quality of the tea produced in the area. Look at the mountain spring throwing its silvery spray into the air. Like a sprinkler, it waters the tea trees growing among the rocks. The ravines shade the tea trees from the blazing sun and keep them in the diffused light most suitable for them. Almost all the rocks here are acidic. Weathered rocks provide trace elements for the growth of tea trees. There are many different types of tea in the Wuyi Mountains. Da Hong Pao, or Big Red Robe, is a kind of tea with a mythological color. During the feudal dynasties, Da Hong Pao was regarded as a holy tea by the emperors and the imperial families, a tea that could promote longevity. So the tea was also called the supreme tea. Bai Ji Guan or white cockscomb. The sprouts are as thin as silk. They are light green and slightly yellow. Shui Jin Gui or water tortoise tea is noted for its strong aroma. Ban Ten Yao or halfway up to heaven. The tea is so named because it grows on the perilous San Hua Peak. Bai Shui Xiang or fragrant for 100 years is a new discovery. The name suggests longevity. Its aroma is unrivaled. Shui Xian or Narcissus is noted for both its fine quality and high yield. It is reputed to be the best of Wu Yi rock teas. Naturally endowed with the scent of orchids, Wu Yi rock tea has long been world famous. In the 17th century, Europeans took Wu Yi as another name for tea. Once immersed in boiling water, the green leaves of Wu Yi rock tea are bordered with red. The striking feature is an outcome of a unique process. The green leaves are turned continuously until their edges are damaged. Then they are dried in the sun and semi-fermented in the process. The final product is oolong tea. Oolong tea is coated with a layer of caffeine crystals, known as the frost on the green. This is an important indication of the quality of oolong tea. There are many varieties of oolong tea. Tie Guanyin is another high-grade oolong tea. A legend goes that it was discovered by a peasant in a mountain valley at Anxi in southern Fujian. It is described as beautiful as the goddess of mercy and as weighty as iron. Tea growers in Anxi do everything possible to boost tea production. The tea invariably has a sweet scent and a nice taste. A quaint custom evolved around the drinking of oolong tea. The teapot is small and the teacups look like tiny handleless wine cups. And brewing the tea is an art. You smell the fragrance of the tea and then you sip and taste it. A refreshing experience. In ancient times, a lot of people associated tea with flowers. In a treatise on tea, Gu Yuanqing of the Ming dynasty wrote that fine tea was often put among lotus stamens to absorb the fragrance. Later, tea was fumigated with flowers. Scented tea appeared as a new category of tea in Fujian. Fragrant flower buds were added to the green tea leaves, transferring such scents to the tea as those of jasmine, sweet-scented osmanthus, orchid, and rose. Black tea, a popular beverage in the world today, took shape in the Daoguang period of the Qing dynasty. It was first produced in Fujian and later became famous in Ximen, known around the world as Qimen. Qimen black tea was reputed to be the best of tea at the London tea market. It was said that Qimen black tea had the fragrance of spring. An ideal type for the preparation of black tea has been extensively utilized in recent years. This is Yunnan big leaf tea. The leaf, as large as a man's palm, contains a rich content of aromatic principle. Black tea made of this tea shrub possesses a strong aroma. Pu'er tea, also from this shrub, is popular both in China and abroad. The big leaf tea comes from Xishuangbanna, the very home of tea trees. The big leaf tea tree was originally a kind of arbor. Today, big leaf tea trees can be found on the shores of Dianxi Lake in Yunnan, on the banks of the Lijiang River in Guangxi, and at the foot of the Wuzhi Mountains on Hainan Island. The Chinese nation, with wisdom and diligence, has written the history of tea. Like silk, tea made its way to foreign lands more than 1,000 years ago. In the 5th century AD, Chinese tea, together with silk, entered Arabia. In the 8th century AD, tea was introduced to Japan. In Japanese, the word tea is pronounced the same way as in Chinese. In AD 805, an eminent Japanese monk traveled to China to study Buddhism at the Guoqing Temple at Mount Tiantai in Zhejiang Province. When he left for home, he took tea seeds with him. From then on, tea took root on Japanese soil. During the Sung Dynasty, another Japanese monk came to China to study tea cultivation and processing. He was known as the Saint of Tea in Japan and made great contributions to tea cultivation there. In 1618, tea was carried northwestward to Russia. Tea was called chai in Russian, a close imitation of the Chinese pronunciation of tea leaves. In 1622, tea was shipped to Europe. The English word tea comes from Amoy, a local Chinese dialect. As a beverage good for health, tea has been disseminated to more than 100 countries and regions. Among the 3 major beverages in the world, tea is more popular than cocoa and coffee. Many a quaint and charming custom and ceremony has evolved over the centuries. When tea was introduced to Japan and India, monuments were built there in memory of the event. Subsequently, tea was disseminated directly or indirectly to more than 50 countries and regions. For many a century, tea has been playing the role of an envoy of friendship, bringing the friendly sentiments of the Chinese people to the people of other lands. In the days to come, the home of tea will send forth more health and happiness, delight and fragrance. May the home of tea retain its vigor forever.